Welcome to Get More Happy. We invite you to journey with us as we find ways, big and small, to get more happy in your life.
Hi, everyone. It's Elena
and Jessie,
and we wanted to talk about coming to you from quarantine and blah, 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 blah. Processing your emotions. So things obviously are interesting right now.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many days, weeks, months, years, centuries we have been in quarantine.
I feel like we're somewhere around 20 days.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 20 years.
Oh, well, it feels like it.
I have found that my emotions, and honestly, everyone I talk to, there is an evolution of how this has kind of gone for all of us.
I just had an idea.
What?
My boss sent me this article about processing this entire quarantine as grief, and you're feeling...
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, the stages of grief.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have to go through all of those 5 or I don't know how many processes.
Yeah. But again, just like any kind of grief, it's not linear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not passing through each stage and you're done with it. You bounce all around. Mm-hmm. What I found is when this all started, at first, until it hit me personally, I was very supportive, understanding, empathetic.
We can do this.
Well, yeah, to everyone.
Yeah.
And then I had a moment where it hit me personally.
It was like, oh,
and then
crap.
I lost it, cried for a little while, things like that. And moved through that fairly quickly. That first initial,
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Right.
That's not fair. It's not fair.
It's not.
The next week or so for me was very, we can do this together. Let's help each other. Very...
Right? Like this quarantine isn't going to be so bad. We've got more family time and we can play games and we can watch movies and it's going to be so great.
Well, and how can we all be there for each other and checking in with people? A lot of outreach that week. A lot of, that's the week that we recorded the schedule.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can do this, So that for me was, the next week or so. Then I hit a week of
blah.
It was more than blah. For me, it was more than blah. For me, it was, I don't do depression very much, but it was a depression. It was a lethargic. I don't want to do anything. I know these are the things I could do, but I don't want to. No focus, no sense of purpose. I think that's the big one for me. It was no sense of purpose.
All I'm doing is sitting and staring at a wall all day, every day, and there's no end to it.
And, me personally, I got laid off during all of this. So it's like, I'm not making any money. I do have autoimmune issues, so I'm not going to the store. So my husband, who's working all the time, I'm sending him to the store now too. I don't feel like cooking the meals. I don't feel like exercising. I don't feel like cleaning. What is my contribution to my family, to society, to anything? I don't want to reach out to anybody because what can I even say to them, So I had a second week of that. I wasn't exercising. I actually wasn't even really reading or watching TV or knitting, or it was
staring at a wall.
And no desire to do anything different. And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Then this past week has been a little more positive for me. I think my thing before was there were no goals. There was nothing to look forward to. There was nothing to distinguish the weekend from the week, from one day to the next,
Mm-hmm.
And we are very, very fortunate that we don't deal with depression. We do deal with anxiety, but we don't deal with depression. Mm-hmm. So those negative feelings, that lethargy, I think so. Anyway, it's not our natural state. So something shifted in us naturally last week. I'm not saying it's going to happen naturally for everyone. But for us, it did shift naturally last weekend, that somehow the weekend felt full.
It was quite exciting, actually. I mean, we've all been staying at home, but we filled our day to where it felt like in our heart and our soul, like we were having a purpose. We were doing something. We felt like productive human beings.
Right. We went and got food, you know.
It's about our
But it was
only
a car
adventures
drive
now.
Yeah, it was a car drive. You know, we actually got in the car. The place we chose last weekend was a little further away, so we had like 20 minutes in the car both ways.
So good.
We emptied out the garage and put a card table in the garage and played music and played dominoes, had a card table set up in there. And, you know, I don't know, for some reason it felt different. This week I've been back to wanting to reach out to people again. I've been back to exercising, moving my body. I have kind of dropped the hard, you know, like a lot of it's been walks. But that's fine.
Because you had the best walk ever the
I
other day.
did have the best walk ever. In addition to that, I started lifting weights again on the days that I don't feel like walking. You know, it's you know, I like lifting weights.
Yeah.
So it was oh, hey, I can do that at home. I forgot I could. I have somebody let me know, one of my favorite ministers has been doing 3 times a week Zoom calls that is a meditation. It's a prayer service. It's just 20 minutes. It's 3 times a week, just very succinct. And it's been giving me that connection to spirit that I could have found, but was having difficulty wanting to find. So I think what we wanted to talk to you guys about is we are all dealing with all of the stages of grief. I don't even remember what they all are. I know it's anger and denial, and I don't remember. We're not even going to look it up right now. It just is what it is. One of the things that was hard for me when I was in that funk was feeling like I didn't have a right to be in that funk. So many people have it worse than me. You know, like every time I get stressed about how I'm not earning money, I don't have my job right now, I have to remind myself so many people have it worse. You know, like my husband's job is very stable. My income was the secondary income. We have Jessie living with us, and she has very much been contributing without us even asking. So every time I would feel like I'm not making money, well, other people have it worse than I do.
But that's not, I guess that's not the point of feeling your feelings.
That's what I'm saying. So on top of feeling depressed, sad, angry, all of the things with grief, I felt guilty because other people have it worse than me. Everywhere in the world. And what gives me the right, you know, so to me, I have dealt with a lot of issues in my life, very serious, real, life-changing challenges, lots of them, but they were unique to me. And therefore nobody could assume it was okay if I was feeling sad because I was dealing with this.
Yeah.
So right now, everybody in the world. So to me, it made me feel guilty and not unique. My struggle wasn't unique. So therefore, in my interpretation, that meant it wasn't valid because everyone in the world is dealing with this. So what the heck do I have to whine about? Everybody, you know? And I think that's what we're trying to let you guys know. First of all, your feelings are going to bounce around.
Yeah, so I've been in a sort of different situation than Mom because she is having to deal with this existential time of not having things to do. So she's filling herself and her time with whatever she can. I'm having a different sort of struggle because I'm having to work and be a productive person in the midst of this pandemic. And my boss sent me something the other day that was really, really helpful that said, you're not working from home, you're trying to work while you're in the middle of surviving a pandemic. Which I think is a really important point to make, that you're not going to be your normal level of productive and your normal mental health state. You have to be gentle with yourself because of everything that's happening. So the first week I was so excited to work from home. Said I get to sit in my pajamas and I get to just wake up and roll out of bed and sit there and just have my work from home time, and I was really excited about it. And then as the weeks kept going and going, and I'm noticing that my feelings are shifting. I'm having a lot more sad times. I'm trying to think of a better word for that, but
it works.
It works. I'm sad that I'm not seeing my coworkers. I'm sad that I'm not seeing people. I'm sad that my life is not happening, that we're all just sitting and waiting for our life to start up again. And I definitely noticed that I was feeling a lack of focus, that I couldn't focus on what my work was doing. And so, I mean, your feelings are going to shift, they're going to change. And I think going into that, it's important to recognize each one of those, and every one of those is valid, and it's okay to be feeling those things.
So we wanted to remind you guys that your moods are going to shift, your feelings are going to shift, and it's okay. And just because you see other people with outreach, you see other people giving and seeming okay, they're okay that moment.
It's like
it doesn't mean...
It's like when you compare your highlights to other people's bloopers.
Exactly.
Other way around. Your bloopers are highlights.
Right. You know, we're all going through this together at our own pace, processing it in our own way. Some people are able to just put it aside and later on they'll process it. You know, we are all in the middle of this tragedy, this life-changing, altering...
historical event.
Exactly. You're going to handle it differently at different times. You know, I think the way I like to think of it is you give what you can when you can. Just because I can give today doesn't mean I can give tomorrow.
Just because somebody else is giving today doesn't mean you have to give today too.
Exactly. And that's how we're going to get through it, is together, you know, leaning on the people that can give when they can give. And accepting the help when you need it.
And giving it when you can.
Recognizing we can't always outreach because we can't, you know.
Feel your feelings.
You gotta, and we're all gonna process it the way we can, how we can, when we can, and it's going to shift and change forever. And you're gonna have days where you're great, you're gonna have days where you're horrible, and you're gonna have days many, many years from now that are going to throw you back into today. And it's good things and it's bad things. So I think that's about it. You know, let yourself feel what you're feeling, process it, and do what you can when you can.
Yeah. Go team!